Are we going?
Are we?
All right. No.
How do you do? We're about to unfold the story of
Ghost of Frankenstein.
My son, would you destroy that which I, your father, dedicated his life to creating? What if it had another brain?
Whose brain?
Your brain.
Bomber! What good is a brain without eyes to see?
I warned you that you might regret this action.
Well, we've warned you.
You've been warned. Welcome back to Frankenstein Minute. Now, that's the podcast that dissects the Universal Frankenstein film series minute by minute. I'm Bill Evenson.
And I'm Thom Lang. You join us. Yeah.
Great.
Right.
Welcome, Thom.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Bill. You join us for minute 39 of 1942's All New Thrills. So what do we got this week for...
But first,
Yeah.
if you're listening to this on Thursday, hopefully I will be landing in sunny California soon.
well.
Or did, or have, or will. But if you're listening to this on Friday, you're celebrating, as we all are, the anniversary of the release of the film The Lost Patrol, released on this day in 1934.
I usually take that day off.
It's informally known as Lost Patrol Day.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Anything else on that line?
No, those are everything.
That's it?
The Lost Patrol. Which one is that? Is that the one where Karloff
Karloff loses his shit in the desert.
shit? Yeah, it's kind of good. Is
Yeah.
that a John Ford?
It is a John Ford.
Yeah. How bad can it be?
Right.
It's not that great, actually. That's fine.
It's not that great, but it's not as bad as some of the horror books when I was a kid just would be ruthless.
On that one?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I didn't.
when
I'm sorry
finally,
I said anything bad. It's not that bad.
When I finally saw it, I'm like, well, this is not bad, and Karloff is just fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's over the top, but that character is kind of over the top.
Okay.
The lab shenanigans continue.
Did you write that down?
I did.
Because I was going to say, if you didn't, that's a nice segue.
Yeah, I was getting punchy.
Okay, good.
You must
But
explain-
good punchy.
Do you have the line? Because you could do the Hardwick better.
You must make him understand. Oh, that's...
You must explain to him.
You must... I can't see it here. Oh, you must explain to him when he becomes conscious. You must make him understand. That's not very good.
It's not a very good line, so it's fine.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's it's the line. It's not me.
Yeah,
it's the
no,
line.
that's right. Whose brain?
Which is, it brings up something just silly, but I put in the whose brain line in the introduction to our podcast at the wrong spot, and I still listen to it sometimes, and I'm like, is that funny, or do people even get that? Or
I thought it was amusing.
it's amusing the first time, but it's every one now. Maybe I'll change it if I don't like it.
Whose brain is it anyway?
There you go. Nice.
Thank you. And Bomper guesses
This movie could be called that.
whose brain is it?
Whose brain is it anyway?
Yeah. Well, then going forward, it certainly could be called that. Well, not maybe the next one, but certainly by house, it's brains a swap in there. I'm going to put your brain in there and your brain in there and see how you like that.
See how you like that? He almost says that.
Yeah.
I assume it's deliberate. If it is, kudos, because this is a topic. It's a great introduction to the topic of what we're going to talk about here, because this is kind of the first. I guess this is where it starts. This brain swapping stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, although in a way it started in the first one. We have two brains. Which one, flip a coin, which one we're going to put in. Flip a brain, unfortunately. You must make him understand. And I like that line.
Yeah.
Because it explains why he wants Igor around in particular. I don't think it's needed because we already had a Frankenstein brother who needed Igor around to do his surreptitious shit.
Yeah.
Right? I'll take any help I can get. Any
this stuff is...
hunchback. There's never like pretty nurses lining up. Maybe at some point. But no, they...
Yeah, but even she's a hunchback.
Even she's a hunchback. That's a good
It's
point.
a prerequisite.
You gotta have a hunchback. And so I don't think the line is needed, but it is nice to have some explanation for why he doesn't say, "Get the fuck out of here, you
Piece of
asshole." Or just ignore him with Frankenstein for the rest of the movie. Bang, bang, bang. So, but why would he need to make him understand?
So that's the question.
So it's either
What difference
moral.
does it?
There's
What
two
difference does it
reasons that I
make?
can think of.
What difference does it make if the monster understands this or not?
Right. There's two reasons I can think of. Number one, and this naturally this wouldn't occur to you, moral reasons.
Oh yeah, no, that's why I couldn't see it at all.
You wouldn't see that one
Yeah,
coming.
I know.
No, it's immoral
Right.
to operate on a thinking
A sentient being.
sentient being. Good term. I like
Thank
that.
you. Thank you.
I like that term very much. It's very useful for our podcast to have
Yeah.
that phrase, sentient being, because it explains it. The other reason, or I don't know if we want to talk about that anymore, but I think it is a moral imperative. You wouldn't operate on a kid even
without them
without trying to make
sort of understanding what's unless
it's
they're
immoral.
very, very young.
Absolutely. But when do you achieve sentience? I don't know. The other reason was moral reasons, number one. The other one would be to placate him. This is what I came up with.
Placate
anyway.
Igor
Placate the monster.
or the monster?
Good point. Interesting point. He might be trying to just placate Igor, but I don't think he's doing that
No, I don't
because it
think
doesn't sound like something Ludwig would do.
No.
He's way more the guy who doesn't realize what's happening. That's kind of spoilers, I guess,
Yeah.
for later. But anyways, and if he is just trying to placate the monster in the hopes that if the monster understands, he'll be totally cool with it. He might not be totally cool with it.
Right.
And so I could, in this case, I could easily argue this is a terrible
idea. Yeah.
Yeah, because you've already got him where you want him. If it isn't moral reasons, I don't know. I don't think it's helping.
I don't know why you would even let Igor know anything of this,
that's a good
to be
point.
honest.
That's true.
Because it's only going to fuck things up.
This is what I guess I'm getting at. The one thing we do know is why you let Igor know. We let Igor know because Igor needs to explain this to the monster. Then the question is, well, why do you need that? And I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't really have a good answer.
Although, I gotta say, I guess only within very thin boundaries, which are, it is a good idea to placate someone that you need to be placated.
Right.
But the syringe does a much better job.
Yes,
in
it
my
does.
opinion.
Well, I mean, the syringe has knocked him out this long where he hasn't had to
Yeah,
put
why do you need
restraints back on him yet.
You don't even.
And
this
they're bringing him back with the
Oh.
all the electricity.
Oh, bringing him back with all the electricity.
That's bring it. What does he say in the previous minute about what's going on?
Bring the monster back?
Yeah, Ludwig is charging him up so that he's strong enough to have this operation.
Yeah.
But he hasn't restrained him at all since the last time. We know what happened when he broke those restraints. First thing I would do is tie this fucker down.
Well, that's true. That's
He
true.
fucking tried to kill me.
But he hasn't done anything yet, really. I guess all we've done is attach the high
He
frequency
hasn't
leads to
done
the...
anything. He killed Kettering.
No.
He tried to haul off his daughter.
No. He hasn't done anything since he broke the
since
restraints.
he broke the restraints.
Restraints broken, syringe applied, he's been knocked out.
Right.
I agree with you. You probably don't start cutting the head open until you're
Until you-
sure he's restrained.
yeah.
I guess the other part of that is you would hope that he would be extra careful because the restraints have already not worked.
Yeah.
So when the restraints didn't work, two things happened. It was a dual. He thought he had a dual fail-safe.
Yeah.
He was knocked out by the soporific gas.
Yeah.
And he was
He was restrained.
Now he's got neither.
Yeah.
He's got a syringe.
Well,
and it's fine. Don't worry about it. He'll be fine.
Henry used 5
If he
grain.
starts to wake up, explain to him what's happening
Yeah.
while we're cutting his head open.
Henry used the 5 grain
So
solution,
is
so
the-
this was 10 grain. I don't know.
So the way you're talking about it, it sounds like you're saying we're doing this now.
No.
Okay.
No, but should he...
We are firing up the
we're
equipment.
firing him up, so when he revives, I don't think he's going to be in any better mood.
Okay, but you think we're doing that now?
Yeah.
We're firing up the equipment.
Why is he firing it up and doing all this stuff?
I thought he was
Attaching
just,
the-
honestly, no joke. I thought he was just like psych. And he wanted to test out the equipment. Like, okay,
attaching
try
the,
this, bang this.
high voltage wires to
But
the
I guess
terminal
you're right.
electrodes.
He's going to do this now.
He's going to do something now.
Maybe I should
because
watch this movie. See what
it
happens.
might
in
not hurt
It might
to-
not hurt every once in a while to watch the actual film.
Whose brain? Kettering's brain,
Yeah.
which has been sitting on ice since however long that happened. Because once that thing is dead...
Okay, so
if it's-
here's the thing.
If it's not in a jar in Waldman's lab...
Here's the
it's-
problem. I think you're making a joke and I'm taking it
I
seriously.
am.
I'm taking your joke seriously because what is certain to be true is that it's not on ice. And the reason it's not on ice is because we know, as of a minute ago, it had never occurred to Ludwig to do this.
yeah.
The ghost had to come and bring it to him.
While you're here...
You can get him another brain.
Yeah.
And yet another brain. Just put nothing but
just
brains.
keep trying. Sooner or later you get it right.
Sooner the ghost goes through all. He keeps coming back. What now, Dad? Sooner or later, we're bound to get it right.
If you don't succeed, try
your
again.
brain?
Why don't you?
My brain? What are you talking about? Well, I don't know. I mean, I'll be right back. I need to talk to Bomber. The ghost appears at Bomber. Bomber, tell me the truth.
He's not.
What do you think of Ludwig?
Bomber, he's not buying it. What do I know?
Bomber, he's not buying it.
What's next?
What else you got?
What's next?
Oh, shit. Okay.
See,
There is a good movie in here.
We should have made these movies back in the 40s.
The head's floating around. Bomber's like, wait, stop moving.
Come back. Just
Get back. Oh, no.
stay put.
Now you're in the Ovaltine glass.
No.
Oh boy. Okay, so yes. No,
yes,
but the way you said that, so it's he says whose brain, and then
Bomber guesses
Bomber says Kettering.
Kettering?
But he not only guesses, he's like all excited.
His eyes kind of light up.
Yeah, he's totally. I think he's excited about the idea of it, but it seems like he's excited that he gets to answer the question. You know what I mean?
Right, but
maybe that's a minute by minute thing.
I think it is, because what I have always gleaned from it is this will vindicate whatever mistake he made in the past.
Interesting.
It's like, okay, Kettering, perfect, because this is what went wrong last time.
Interesting. I had never thought that, and while you were talking, I couldn't help but think he'd be like, Kettering? I hate that guy. That guy's a dink. Do you hear how he talks to me when you're not around? Although,
no,
the other side of that
Kettering didn't diss
that's
him.
a good point. Well, he
Ludwig
kind of said, I don't know why you think the way you do, Dr.
Well,
Bomber. You should relax.
You should be thankful.
Take a chill pill. Yeah, you should be thankful for Dr. Frank. So why do you live here? He does say something like that.
Who are you, anyway?
No, but he does say, like, why are you here?
Something like that.
Something like that. I don't know why you stay or something like that. Yeah. Why do you live here? What's the matter with you?
Dating my mom.
All of a sudden, it's
family drama.
Well, I was picturing it being like Bill and Ted. Remember when I asked your mom to prom? Do you remember the first Bill and Ted?
Yeah,
Ted's dad starts dating a much younger woman that went to high school with them. Remember when I asked your mom to the prom? Shut up, Ted! Or shut up. I've got it backwards.
I don't. Doesn't matter. Yes, Kettering. A man of character and learning.
Character and learning.
An officer and a gentleman. A judge of fine wine and good women.
Yes. Well, he goes on, and the monster will cease to be an evil influence.
Yes, he does.
All right, actually, let's go to... I like this. Let's stop in the middle.
In the script, he phrases it a different way.
Okay, let's do that. But first, let me say, just on the bit of a man of character and learning, actually, it is better if you read the whole thing. He says, the monster will cease to be an evil influence and become everything that is good. I have two things to say about that. In fact, I've written it here twice. I think in the script already what we've talked about that's in the script that hasn't been in here, it sets it up a little bit better because in the movie, you could tell me that Ludwig didn't even know Kettering worked there.
Yeah.
Like he
barely
notices him, and then twice now he's acted like he was, I can't remember what the other time was, but there was one other time where he referred to him like he does care.
Yeah.
I guess it was probably when he was talking to Elsa. But here he's like a man of character and learning, and like Kettering?
It's
Kettering's like third on the list. He might be below Igor on the list of people I'd...
It's worse in the script because he's like, yes, Kettering, and then he says to Igor, my friend.
Yes.
The man the monster murdered shall inherit his body.
When you say it's worse...
Well, just because my friend is worse. Because, he's exhibited no affection towards him whatsoever.
It's the...
Other than a clinical affection.
It's the Star Wars Episode 2 problem. Mm-hmm. So I'm not talking about Empire Strikes Back, but I am talking about, in a way, the second Star Wars film. Star Wars Episode 2, they fired the little kid from Star Wars Episode 1. So at the very beginning of the movie, you have Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker on an elevator, which is kind of hilarious when you think about it. And they're talking about the adventures they've been on.
Yeah, which are way better than the shit that I'm watching. Way better than
the movie, no question. And it's to establish that they're friends.
Yeah.
And the reason that's important is because Alec Guinness said it in 1977. He was a good friend.
Yeah.
But on screen, they're never friends, not even for a second.
No.
And so you get one conversation in an elevator where they're talking about how they used to be friends.
Wasn't that great when we did that? Like,
you fell into a nest of Gundarks.
Love to have seen that instead
that
of
would have
this
been
shit.
good. Yeah.
So I just wonder how Kettering's going to feel about all this once he wakes up inside this body, or is his conscience not. There's the thing that these movies take for granted is that you're going to be the same person if your brain is dead and then put into something else. And
I have good news. It's the consistent argument that says that gets even worse in later films.
Yes.
When we don't even know what a brain is anymore.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so I thought the angle you were going at was we don't have Kettering's permission to do this.
Exactly.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
All right. So I think that's completely true. The thing is, I guess I got no really argument against that, except to say it is a family trait of the Frankenstein that we don't bother with that.
We don't care about that.
We're only mildly distracted to hear that this corpse was acquired in a murder.
Yeah.
You know, so that's way down the list of things we're concerned about.
Yeah.
And in this case, if you assume that that's a thing that happens to people, if consent is not a problem for you, then it's reasonable to assume that Kettering would rather be alive than dead.
True.
And I say reasonable, I guess I'm on the fence on that.
I don't know. I mean,
unless he's in heaven, and he's like, this is great.
This is fantastic. All of a sudden he's
oh, now I'm a monster.
jolted back in this big lummox.
Yeah. That doesn't even speak anymore.
Yeah.
Still got sulfur up my nose.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although, I guess, good point. We know he will speak. Mm-hmm. Oh, spoilers.
Nope. Well, you hear it at the beginning and end of...
Well, this is the other thing I was going to say. There's a lot here in just these two sentences. Since when is Kettering everything that is good? Right?
Yeah.
And that's answered by the stuff that was in the script, I think.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit. Yeah, it's not great, but it does at least establish that he considered Kettering to be like this
good
high quality...
Yeah.
Or what did you say? A lover of fine
he's
things.
a man of character and learning, an officer and a gentleman, a judge of fine wine and good women.
Yep, he was the quarterback of the football team.
Sure. Had that winning touchdown that won the game.
Mike Kettering. I don't know. Is he
I don't know that he has
hard-nosed, hard-boiled private investigator Mike Kettering?
I think it was
Dirk Kettering.
Dirk Kettering is...
it doesn't work. Neither one of those work because the consonants meet. Dirk Kettering, Mike Kettering.
Yeah, they flow together.
Something's wrong there. The next thing he says, and I don't know if we said this, the monster will cease to be an evil influence and become everything that is good. Okay, obviously we did. The monster an evil influence? That's not even for a second has that been true. Not even remotely true. I can't think of a moment
where he's been an influence.
First of all, he's got to be an influence. The only thing I could say is as a broader thing, it actually does match up to what I just said maybe 2 weeks ago when Ludwig is talking to his dad and he says, it's brought nothing but destruction. Then I went off and said, that's really true. He has brought tons of destruction left and right. So you could say it in that sense, it's true.
Sure.
But he's certainly not an evil influence. The only thing only time he even engages in evil is in Son when he's under someone else's influence. The evil influence is in the room.
Also in Bride when Pretorius has him put the pressure on Henry by kidnapping Elizabeth.
That's true. I was going to say, on the evil scale, that's lower.
But there he's
that's like Rocky in Rocky when he's breaking thumbs.
He's sort of...
he doesn't actually break the thumbs.
No, but he's sort of Pretorius's puppet. So Pretorius is the evil influence. Exactly. The monster is just sort of the machine to make it happen.
Fantastic. I think you've done this a number of times now where you just said what I was going to try to struggle to say, but much better. That in that sense, he can be looked at as an evil influence. Yeah. Or you just go, well, he's got a criminal brain. He's a fuck. He drowned that girl.
Yeah.
He probably raped her.
Which is where we're at this point in the series. Nope. That's the title. Bill says he raped her.
That's the title. He probably raped her, says Bill.
And Igor is an everlasting life. Which is another thing that I don't think Kettering signed on for.
True. Yeah. So it's a good news, bad things. Well,
good news, bad news.
Kettering wakes up. Okay.
Here's the good news.
What happened?
Here's the good news. You're back to life. Here's the bad news.
The bad news is
you're a fucking monster that'll live forever.
Forever. Yeah.
Have a good day now.
Well, that leads into the next thing, right?
Well, he says, the monster will cease to be an evil influence and become everything that is good.
Yeah.
Igor, no. The first no sounds like it's dubbed in, and the second two are on set.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Weird. It just always had a weird quality.
Yeah, I think you're right. But I like it because it's nice to see Igor react like that, right?
Yeah.
On some level, this is something you want when you watch a movie like this, is to have a cunning, what's the word? Cunning guy? Sly and sinister and cunning
duplicitous,
fellow. Kind of back on his heels a bit.
Yep.
Yeah, and he's like, no,
you can't take away my friend.
Yeah, you cannot
take my friend away from me.
That's your Igor?
You cannot take my friend away from me. He's all that I have, nothing else.
Yeah, he's got his horn, I guess.
He's got his horn.
But he uses that to placate the monster.
Yep.
Why don't you play him a tune, Igor? I'm going to need you to play this horn while I'm fucking pulling his brain out.
And Igor's losing his shit, and Ludwig is doing his best to ignore him.
Yeah, this another...
I don't see you. I'm going to go...
Very much in keeping with Ludwig's character.
Yeah,
and I think
cold sort of...
Is this the part? Yeah, okay. Okay, so it's during this, so I've got it later. But yes, he does start doing that right away.
You know, he futzes with levers and stuff.
Actually, you know what? Yes. Well, so this is why I got confused, because there's a bit in the script too that were you going to say this? I can't remember. Are you looking to see if
the
package delivery?
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you want?
I think Don's home. That's why.
Oh, okay. You cannot in the script. You cannot take my friend away from me. He is all that I have, nothing else. You are going to make him your friend, then I will be alone. That's all right.
Yep.
Then Frankenstein, sadly but firmly, he cannot continue like this. Either this, or he must be destroyed.
Yep.
Actually, did I say the stage direction part? He says, Frankenstein, sadly but firmly. So there's a much different, what you just said about him ignoring Igor.
It's a whole different tone in the script.
Completely different tone in the script. And one that at least makes more sense. I don't know if I would want that in the movie, just because I think I've gotten used to Ludwig being this vaguely distracted.
Yeah.
Looking back, it really works when you first meet him and... Eric comes over and he's very, very dryly tells a joke.
Yeah.
So he's that guy. So for him to be all...
Oh, yeah, Don's home. That's why she...
Okay. For him to suddenly then be like, sit down, Igor.
Let's
you know
have
what
a
I mean?
talk.
We need to have a talk. Yeah. What's weird about it is he cannot continue like this. We'll just put a new brain in him and then everything will be great.
Everything will be okay now. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess that's the problem. That's the problem with the criminal brain is it's the main motivation for
that's
Ludwig
what I was saying. It became a lazy script thing where we don't have to invest any character motivation, any kind of personality whatsoever into the monster. Fuck him. We'll just pop a new brain in. Everything will be okay.
Simultaneously, this is a movie that does show the monster having emotion. Compared to the last film, it was like one scene or two. In this one, he's kind of back to the same guy.
He's supposed to, anyway.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Oh, it's all over the place, this movie.
Yeah, you're going to make him your friend, and I will be alone. Mm-hmm. Bomper steps out from behind the machinery he's pretending to work on to observe this. Yeah. This is where he's framed in the little circle thing.
Yep. Which I got to say is a cool shot, but I kind of not worth it.
Not really. It doesn't really add anything.
Distracts. Yeah.
And what you just read from the
still. If you saw that in a still, you'd be like, "Ooh, this is a deleted scene."
Cool
or
movie, yeah. The bit you just read from the script in the movie, he says, "It will be as I say, or he must be destroyed," which I think is much more in character.
Absolutely.
To Ludwig as we see him,
and actually kind of helps contribute to his downfall, right? Mm-hmm. Like each Frankenstein has to have their downfall, otherwise, why would you call him that? And his downfall is not
having any empathy.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I think is one of the things that bothers me.
I was going to say just not paying attention to
anybody,
having any emotional connection. I guess
anybody. Yeah. Except maybe Elsa.
A little bit, and Kettering.
I guess. Kettering, man, he was the best guy ever.
The officer and a gentleman, and a lover of fine wine and good women.
Yep. It must be as I say, or he must be destroyed. He cannot be destroyed.
And then that's where Bomper's been waiting for this line.
Yeah.
Because he's known the secret of how to destroy the monster for 3 minutes. 8 minutes.
Not even, yeah.
Because it's funny because it was just a few minutes ago. We assume this. Oh no, I guess I shouldn't say that. There is a time.
There's a time lag, but not.
It could be. We don't know. It could be for long actually.
Could have been a day. Could have been an hour.
Maybe he read that whole book. Yeah. But anyways, the point is, we know that Bomper has this take on the situation.
Yeah.
And dissection was something that had to be introduced to him as an option, and he was repulsed by it.
Yeah.
And now here he is. Oh yeah? How about dissection?
You're so smart.
Take that, you son of a bitch.
I wrote, watching these minute by minute, it's difficult to tell how long this idea has been percolating in anyone's head.
Yep, absolutely. Well, and like you said in the script, there's additional scenes that
kind of
make it seem like
that there was a longer.
They've been hanging out and stuff. There's time to hang out.
It's funny because Bomber's reaction to dissection 5 minutes ago was completely aghast, and I can't have any part of this. Well, now he's offering it up as, hey, what about dissection?
Absolutely. I was thinking that.
So that would indicate some time has passed and he's thought about it.
I like that. I was going to say, but it could still be he finds the idea completely repulsive, but he's just using it as a threat.
To get Igor to shut up.
And in fact, it's the truth. He knows that that's the situation. Yeah. Frankenstein says he's going to dissect him or dissect him.
Dissect.
By dissection.
Then this is weird because Igor.
But then when he says that, though, he really takes the wind out of Igor's sails. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that what you're gonna say?
No, not that.
He completely switches. He's like, "Oh shit, you found me out."
Yep.
But it does make me wonder. By dissection, we just assume that that's okay. Like the monster's been blown up. He just hasn't lost any limbs or digits.
Yeah.
Or
he's still intact.
That's all we know for sure. Why would dissection necessarily work, right? Like, what?
That's we mentioned that a few weeks ago about when we have the crawling hand from
that's true.
Frankenstein: The True Story. Would individual pieces still be alive? Then what do you do with those? I mean, how far down do you have to reduce this stuff so that it's not alive anymore?
And at what point are you? What are your moral obligations there? Like, if you had just a head and you just like watch TV with it, would you be a good guy or a bad guy?
All the rest of the parts are in bags in a closet.
Yeah, moving around.
Yeah, squirming. And then Igor has an idea and changes his direction completely,
which is cool. I like when Igor does smart stuff.
Yeah,
and here he's thrown back on his heels, as I said.
Yep.
And it takes him a second.
No, Igor's body is no good.
Check this out. No, just hear me out.
You're gonna love this.
Love this.
Igor's body is no good. Its neck is broken. Now, when you talk about your body, right, got a new shoulder, I don't say, it's got a new shoulder.
Yep.
I've got a new shoulder.
Yeah. I like it. I like the pronoun. this is another pronoun
It's just interesting that he says that because he's looking at it.
He's already.
It's not him anymore.
Yeah, he's already.
This is dead tissue. I'm going to be in that body, so this body is garbage.
Yeah, I think I wrote here, I like he's already dissociating himself from his own body.
Yep.
Because in Frankenstein world, you can easily find yourself thinking in these terms.
Sure.
Like, this is a real, hey, I got an idea. Why doesn't he have my finger? Because I really like this finger.
Yeah.
You know, it's all parts at some point.
Yeah.
And like you said, philosophically, it's difficult to actually explain what you are.
Yeah.
You in particular. But I mean any of us, right? Like, where do you end?
Right.
And if you did lose a finger, are you the same person?
Yeah.
You probably are.
Right. Its body is broken, crippled and distorted, lame and sick for the bullets your brother fired into me.
Love that line.
Yep.
Love it to pieces.
So this is partly on you and your family, which goes into the script much more.
Script he says more,
You can put my brain in his body. In the script,
that's right.
Your family owes me this. Your father and brother made him like that. Your brother made me like this.
Yeah. I like what we get.
Made me like his, but it's a typo.
Is it? Yeah. Oh, funny. Because I wrote it right here. I didn't. Anyways, but it works just fine the way it is. I mean, I agree that it adds a little bit.
I really wish they would have left that in because it gives it that. Listen, pal.
Well,
this is all on your family. You get a little bit of it.
And I like what we do get. His referring to his own body as these are very descriptive words. Neck is broken, crippled, distorted, lame and sick from the bullets your brother fired. He lays it all out there very quickly and efficiently, and you're like, yeah, you are a bit of a mess. Yeah. And it's a good reference to the bullets that were fired into him. Is this the first time he's mentioned that? Can't be.
No, I think it's come up once before.
Oh, because they mention it in the probably somebody in the village mentions it in the first 2 minutes.
Yeah,
but he's dead. He shot him. Yeah, but haven't I heard him? Or whatever. Yeah, it's probably
that's it. Yep. Bomber is still framed in the circular doohickey, and he looks up at when Igor says...
It's like a tennis racket. Actually, it reminds me of...
it's like the magic mirror from Romper Room.
Romper Room. I knew you were going to beat me, so I just waited.
Okay. And Ludwig is very dismissive.
I told you about Canadian... I'm sure I mentioned it before. Canadian Romper Room. That I saw a Canadian friend on Facebook referring to the Canadian Romper Room, and I was like, you had Canadian Romper Room? Is that what we had? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, it was a regional thing.
That makes sense.
I think the one we had was from out of Chicago.
So
but they were all around the country.
So if you had one in, oh gosh, I'm terrible at this. Little Rock. No, I don't know. Let's see. What's a town like in deep South? Would they be like, and I see Billy Bob and Mary Joe.
Baba Jean. Yeah.
Bobby Jean.
Yep.
Okay. Does anybody know what Romper Room is? Does everybody know?
Anymore? It was a
Write in if you
children's show when we were kids. And
it was very effective to have that
yeah.
tennis racket without the strings, basically. To have a woman with a pleasant voice look into the screen, and if your name is Bill or Tom,
it comes up
your name is going to be on the list. I see Billy and I see Tommy.
Both of my wives have said their names rarely, if ever, came up. Cheryl said never. Dawn said it hardly ever came up.
So what's that experience like? Like, oh, you didn't see me again this week.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like finding those little personalized license plates at souvenir shops.
I still try to buy
Find something with Zoe on it, I dare you.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Or Jet now, forget it.
Well, I married a Jackie, so I can usually find a Jackie or a Jacqueline.
Yeah.
And it's like a joke gift, but after a while it became like where's my keychain?
Yeah. Yeah, Ludwig is very dismissive. Your brain.
Actually,
he walks away.
Actually, I had one thing to add before he says that, which is that whole scene, the way when they're looking into the Ludwig. Two things. He comes up to a big 10-foot tall box, and he starts doing stuff in it, and I really like the way he does it. And he looks like he has put some thought into this. I actually watched him, and he's like, okay, yeah, it seems reasonable. He bends down, he flicks a switch, and then he starts turning the wheel, and then as he's turning the wheel, he's flicking these other two switches. He looks like he's really trying to do something.
Strickfaden probably is like, hey, okay, to make this
Here's
work,
what you need to do.
Yeah,
but then the other part of that is he's staring into this window, and then after a while, Lugosi's over his shoulder talking to him. You could convince me that the script is in that little window. Yeah. Because they're both just staring at it. They could be reading the script.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess hearing stories about Marlon Brando on the set of The Godfather make me think, is there a script back there?
Superman for sure, yeah.
Well, Superman was just cue cards. I guess there was cue cards for The Godfather too, but there are pictures of behind the scenes Godfather photos of he's still alive too, the Consigliere.
Oh yeah,
whatever his name is.
Shit, yeah.
Super famous actor.
Yeah.
Anyways, of him standing there with his arms akimbo, and his chest is a cue card. He's just got a cue card taped to his chest. And there's another story from that of the guy who's really nervous to meet Brando. This is not related, but I just have to tell it because it's a similar story. It's Luca Brasi comes and says, I wanted to thank you for your invite on the day of your daughter's wedding, and he stumbles onto the line a little bit. Well, to rattle him, Brando took a 1972 equivalent of a Post-it note and wrote "fuck you" and put it on his forehead. So you got to picture that when you watch that scene. Anyways,
I have heard that. Yeah.
So that's what I'm picturing going on here. Is the script is inside that box?
Yeah, I don't know so much here, but certainly the movie The Invisible Woman.
Oh yeah.
With John Barrymore, he was so far gone alcohol-wise that they had the script everywhere.
Okay.
Taped to things, little cards everywhere, just so that he could get through it.
I gotta think that as an aid, it's a very imperfect one.
Oh, absolutely.
Like you still have to know where to be and where we are. And
no, we used them a little bit on Horror Incorporated just because we had to do so much so quickly.
We should fucking do that here. I mean, I wouldn't be so rattled all the time when I'm trying to say the sound of the thing.
Because we had to do so much so quickly. I mean, I've always said we shot those under conditions that Roger Corman and Ed Wood would have found intolerable.
Sure. Where was that?
KSTP.
The one in Dinky
Snelling.
or over there?
Yep.
Snelling? Is that Snelling?
No, University.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And was it small?
No, it was, we had a full studio.
Yeah.
But we had to only use part of it because they would use other parts of it for other things.
Sure.
I had a big monologue at the beginning of every episode introducing it.
And that
so we had it written out. I didn't always rely on it, but I know a couple of the other actors would always rely on it. Just because of the conditions under which we shot it. It was no time to rehearse. What you saw was the first time through for everybody.
Sure.
Because we just had next. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Did you flub your line? Did something fall over? Did anybody die? No. Next.
If anybody dies, let me know, because we can't put that on TV.
Save the costume, because we'll have to,
Ever since Jack Ruby, we can't show people dying on TV.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot, Jack Ruby. Well, one thing I wanted to make sure I mentioned, because I didn't notice it so much in this minute. I think you'll see it in the next minute, but when Ludwig is walking around the room, at one point you see a bunch of shelves, and on the shelves are a lot of beakers and I think some books and at least 2 skulls. Very Waldman.
Yeah,
very Frankenstein.
I was going to say he got those from Waldman's.
Because
when Waldman vacated,
like for Waldman, you totally get it, right? While they're sitting there to pleading for his help, you could easily see him going, "Well, I'll explain it to you," and reaching over and grabbing one.
Yeah,
but like I'm not sure. I think Ludwig's maybe just morbid or something.
Just for show.
Well,
I've got one sitting right there. So
yeah, but you're morbid.
I mean, this room is full of monsters. So
no, but yeah, the room is full of monsters.
Yeah,
we know it's not that for Ludwig.
Right.
Did you notice the skulls?
Yeah.
I mean, Wolf didn't have any.
I didn't think they were that out of character.
Just for
he does work with the mind and the head. So and he's done brain surgery.
Yeah.
So it made sense to me that there would be skulls there.
Actually, now that you say it like that, he does work with the mind, and according to at least the script of this film, the work he does is purely physical. Yeah. He doesn't have any interest in talking to these patients. They're a bunch of nuts.
Doesn't even know
Screw
their
these
name.
people. Yeah. I just can't wait to cut them open to
is
fix
patient
their
number
problem.
143? Okay, good.
Yeah. What'd you say?
Is patient 143?
Yeah,
perfect.
right, exactly.
Okay. He's dismissed. He climbs up the ladder that Bomper was leaning on when he talked about Bomper's folly, and
he had that nice moment.
Nice little
see, that worked good. That angle worked really well because of what it was showing. I feel like you could almost see it as being like like in a musical or something, American in Paris or something. They go over to a ladder
or like one of those early live TV productions or something.
Yeah, where they need to lean against something.
Yeah, and Igor hounding Ludwig is how Kurt Siodmak described Lugosi, hounding him for parts, for dialogue, etc. But Kurt Siodmak could be an absolute asshole, so I don't know how much to put into that.
He seemed to think that he could get a lot of mileage out of that Frankenstein Wolf's the Meat Man joke, which I think is...
it's not particularly funny to begin with, and I don't believe it ever happened.
Right, there you go. Yep. It's like listening to Paul McCartney. I'm not calling him a liar, but a lot of what he says doesn't make a lot of sense. Yeah. He's not a Beatles expert, let's put it that way.
Any more questions, wise ass?
All right.
The sound of the music could only mean one thing. It is that time again.
It's that time again. It's time for got any wise ass comments, wise asses. Name open for debate. In case we don't like it, we can change it.
Well, I'm not changing the little sound bite, so
that's
call it whatever you want.
What day is it? What day is it? Saturday?
Yeah.
I guess it's Thursday or Friday, depending on when you listen to this.
Well, it could be any day of the week, depending on when you listen to this. Could be 6 years from now.
This open? Here's my problem. I sort of obsessively close my apps, and then now I'm like, I've closed this app, and now it's asking me to reinstall it.
Oh.
Jesus Christ, what's going on here? Okay. And that was minute 39?
It was indeed.
Are you impressed that I knew that?
That was pretty good.
Yeah, I was guessing.
Yeah.
We got tons of comments. For some reason, I thought we didn't have comments on
because this episode isn't long enough, so go ahead.
And these are in reverse chronology. No, these aren't. These seem to be in the right order. I don't know what's going on.
I don't either, so why don't we just start?
Will Hohenstein writes, I can't hear Igor saying, hose brain, or Ludwig's, your brain, without thinking of the podcast intro, to say nothing of the Bomper we'll be getting later. Yeah, that's a kind of a weird thing, actually, because I've done that to myself, because I listen to the podcast sometimes. And, it does change it, kind of. Like, these are lines, like, especially Bomper. The only reason that's in there is because it's iconic later. Yeah. And when we started this, I think maybe Felicity or somebody I talked to hadn't seen the film yet and was like, what is that? Especially when we did that joke one.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, that's not iconic to everybody.
Right.
And so it's weird that it does that because these lines are iconic, but it's already done it to me. Yeah. The whose brain, your brain. Here's
the thing. I don't, once I've listened to it a couple times early on, when I'm editing, I don't listen to it because I have the waveform so I can tell where
you don't even know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
No, I do, but yeah.
But yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I listen to it way more than you because you don't. Why would you?
Yeah.
I mean, you have to, I suppose, make sure that the fade in works.
It times out, and the fade in. We can hear us.
Talking
over the music.
Yeah.
And,
Okay. Ruben Herfindahl writes, so this is the minute which basically sums up the whole movie.
Okay, yeah.
But it is a little heartbreaking. There is some pretty good acting going on here and some genuine sadness coming out on the potentials of his friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. We don't give Lugosi a ton of credit.
Not for this one, no.
Yeah. And this is this turnabout that we're talking about, where he comes in and
everything's gonna be okay now.
He literally says, "Ha ha, you cannot be destroyed." Yeah. It says, sorry. Ruben continues. Okay. In case you wanted to cut out my burp, let me start.
No.
Ruben continues. Too bad the resolution to that ends up being brain surgery gone wrong. Yeah. Well, yeah. That is the point.
But that's
why we're here.
That's the.
Igor is an evil influence. His comeuppance is not that tragedy.
Is the evil influence that they say the monster is? Yeah.
Felicity Brown writes, well, now I know you sat through this minute to create your opening audio. There you go. Right. Okay, so let me see if this is... What have I got here?
I have no idea what you're doing.
I'm just doing everything wrong. I think I need to come up with a better system. Actually, here it is. No, this isn't it.
I'm going to read my emails while you go through this.
What did we just do?
39.
Okay, so these comments from 35. So I'll do that.
Okay.
Sean writes, lots of talk about Sir Cedric's anemic acting in the past few episodes. I just recently watched The Lodger for the first time.
See, I mentioned that weeks ago, yeah.
Yeah, and was surprised by the level of energy output by Hardwicke in that film.
Yep.
Legend has it that Rathbone wasn't hot on being in such a penny dreadful as Son of Frankenstein, yet he acts his socks off there. You'd get the impression it was Hardwicke who was feeling that way given his performance. And that's what I was trying to say.
Exactly, yes.
That's The Frankensteins are prone to hysterics, as we've seen in the previous installments. Perhaps Ludwig is the outlier who takes after his stoic Aunt Mildred.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or Elizabeth. Could just favor Elizabeth.
So his mom is the not prone to hysterics Elizabeth.
Valerie Hobson.
Valerie Hobson.
Yeah.
Doc Ivan writes, in response to that same minute, finally, we get to the point where this film becomes Pinky's.
Yeah.
Ghost is my least favorite of the series, but Atwill's contributions from this point forward harness the lightening necessary to make it somewhat work.
There we go.
Frankly, I yearn for more Janet Ann Gallo, who soon becomes nothing more than a prop. Yeah, that's
absolutely
sung the praises
true.
of Janet Ann Gallo.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
I think she's lucky. She might be a little bit lucky that she's so damn cute. Like, she's just so damn cute that
maybe
she doesn't need to bring a lot.
Maybe, but I think what she brought in those first few scenes that she's in was great.
That's true. But she's stoic, right?
Well, you read the description of the character in the script, and it was her to a T.
And what was it again?
Something about...
Oh, people will know. Go back.
Go back to minute whatever it was.
9, who knows. Love the podcast. Now, how can I interject Doctor Who into this message like a wise ass at this point? Thanks, Doc.
That's good.
Well, I mean, his name's Doc. He must, he's got a connection to Doctor Who, and yes, Doc Who.
Oh my.
And that's it. So if you want to leave us comments, wise-ass comments, please sign up at patreon.com/FrankensteinMinute at the $5 level, and you will be then christened a wise-ass, and then you are now allowed to make comments that we will read on the podcast, as you should know by now, unless you don't listen to the podcast.
There you go.
In which case... We've entered a really weird...
It's getting kind of meta at this point.
It's meta because now it's like that part in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy where Arthur says, I've always had the problem with whatever, and then his words just magically appear on the other side of the universe and cause an intergalactic war.
Yep.
And that's the end.
I'm going to be screaming at this episode when I'm editing it. Shut up! Stop talking!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
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 Yep. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.